Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to be joined by Mr. Nathan Gorman. How are we, mate?
All good, how are you?
Very well, very well. Just to give people an idea of the time, it's 9 o'clock Friday night. Mick Conlon's about to walk, so I won't keep you for too long. A couple of things to talk about, including today's heavyweight drama. But first, about a month since your win, a good win as well over Pavel Sauer.
Yeah.
Very dominant, all off the jab. I know you'd have watched it. Pleased?
Yeah, I was pleased. Obviously, listen, there's far from the finished article yet. Still a hell of a lot of things to work on, but that's all the process of learning. But pleased to get a good stoppage win. You know, he's a very seasoned campaigner. He's been in with some world class operators. So yeah, I was pleased. On to the next one now.
Yeah, and obviously, like I said, it was only a month ago, but you said to me after, it's all about activity this year. Has Uncle Frank given you any news on the next one?
Yeah, definitely. It's all about ring activity, because obviously after the Dubai fight, I had, obviously with COVID and etc. That's, you can't help that. It wasn't just me; it was everyone in the world. But I had about 18 months out the ring, so ideally I could do a boxing, another twice this year, ideally. So just keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going. That's what I want to do.
Yeah. And has Frank actually sort of given you anything, been on the phone to you at all?
Yeah, I had a meeting with Frank literally about 2 weeks after my fight. So I think probably I'll know more in the next couple of weeks or something. I had 3 or 4 days off. I got straight back into the gym. So you know what I mean. I'm training hard, ticking over. So I'd imagine next few weeks I'll know a specific date.
Good stuff. Right. 2 other matters, and I think you know why you were wanted on here this week of all weeks. Am I right?
Yeah, go on.
David Adeleye. So obviously he was a fixture of your last fight. I mean, you were in the same bubble. I asked you about him on the Thursday. He fought on the Friday, won. You fought on the Saturday, won. I asked you again. You kept the same energy that you'd kept all week. And perhaps the weekend gone justified why you were rubbish in such talk that week in the bubble.
Exactly, mate. Because the thing is, without going on about his performance, because at the end of the day, I don't want to, down at him or anything like that. He's doing what he's doing. But you can understand why I was saying have a few more fights first, and there's still a lot of tougher tests to come. He's only had the first hurdle with Kamil. That's why I mentioned it. Fight Kamil Solowski and come back to me. He did that, my opinion. Solowski won. I scored it 4 rounds to 2. But obviously, David's got the victory. If I was in David's shoes, I'd want a rematch. I would be thinking about what I'm doing or what Fabio Wardley's doing or whoever else is doing. You got to concern about yourself. There's no need to look across the road and look at the greener grass. You got to look at your own. So I think that was his problem. He got too busy and too hooked up on what I'm doing and having an interview with me and tweeting me and having a social media back and forth. But in reality, it's the fan. When you walk into the ring and you get into that squared circle, and a big man's throwing a lot of punches at you, Twitter isn't going to save you then.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that you said come back after Kamil Sokolowski, so I don't know if perhaps that's reasoning why Sokolowski was the opponent, but did you actually mean it as in, say he'd gone in there and knocked out Sokolowski in 2, or knocked him out in the first round? Did you mean it like that? Like knock him out and come and see him?
Yeah, exactly. If he had gone in there and blitzed Sokolowski I knew he wouldn't have, but in a round or 2, he'd have made a statement. Then it brews close to a fight between me and him. But at the minute, it doesn't. He's irrelevant to me at the minute. You know what I mean? He's five fights unbeaten or 6 fights unbeaten. So I want to push on for the British and Commonwealth titles. Without being horrible about Dave, he's just gone off he's just starting off in his career. So in hindsight, unless he was mandatory for a British title, then I'd be all up for it. But at the present moment, there's nothing he can offer me.
Yeah. I know you said you don't want to go too deep on his performance, but if you can, Nathan, obviously you don't have to. Can you just tell me a couple of things you thought perhaps that were missing?
Yeah, a jab. Listen, I've been there, done that. When I boxed Dubai, I hardly threw a jab. the thing is, a good heavyweight to have a good jab. And when he was boxing Camille, he was in range and he was looking for big shots. Camille's tough as boots. You know what I mean? He very rarely. I think he's only been stopped twice in his career, or 3 times most. And he's been in with literally everyone. I'm one of the people that stopped him. That was with a body shot. So I think David and his head, he could one punch knockout Camille. You know what I mean? But he was neglecting all the other things while I was thinking of that. But again, it comes with experience and stuff. So, and it was a 6-rounder, pacing himself. You know, obviously he's got 8, 10 rounds, 12 rounds to come. But also, like us all, saves himself, work in progress.
Yeah, and you did it just then a little bit, but I was going to say, I suppose you will draw comparisons from the fact what you stopped him in 5, was it? Went the distance with him another time. Your stoppage with him was when you were 19, was it not?
I boxed Camille when I was 19 in my 4th fight. I stopped him in the 5th round. And that was 5 years ago when Camille was a lot fresher, a lot more stronger, a lot more gamer. And people going about, he's a very limited amateur experience, this means nothing. I had 12 amateur fights in total. Granted, yeah, I was on the Great Britain squad and that, but senior fights, youth fights, everything. I had 12 fights in total. So I literally done all my learning in the professional ranks.
Yeah. And in all fairness to Camille, we know he brings it. He's taken a lot of lads over the years. Been stung a couple of times as well.
I spoke to him beforehand. Hey, mate.
He's been stung a couple of times as well. Like, if you look at the Lucas Brown fight, that springs to mind. Like, we know he brings it. So,
truth of the matter is, there's probably about 8 of them losses, maybe more, plus wins. Lucas Brown, good clear factor. David Adeleye should have won that. There's been a fair few where he should have won.
How good actually is he for someone that we label a journeyman? Because we look and go, Kamil Sokolowski, journeyman.
He's very tough. Very, very tough. Camille's the type of fighter, if you've got chinks in your armour, he'll find out and he'll expose it. That's why I mentioned Camille too. Why I suggested this, fight Kamil Sokolowski. Because I know him. I've had him in camp sparring with me. I've fought him twice. I know him. I know exactly what he's about. And when he's up for it and he's game, he's for a prospect, he's a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, look, finally on the David Adeleye front, I can't recall your name being mentioned on the broadcast either. So maybe things will quieten on that front and just forward for yourself now.
Yeah, exactly. I'd imagine so. The thing is, he's got his own route to do. What's next for him, I don't know. Just wish him all the best. I'd imagine our routes will cross sometime or another, but at this present moment, he's got a lot of learning to do.
Yeah. Today's heavyweight drama, Derek Chisora. We know what he's like anyway, but this whole coin toss thing. What's your thoughts on the old? I mean, at one point we thought he was packing his bags and leaving. He isn't. He is going to fight tomorrow. But yeah, just your thoughts.
Yeah, listen, it's rather a very good PR stunt to buy more pay-per-views, or he's just generally mad.
Both, I reckon both.
Yeah, true. Probably a bit of the both. He's method to the madness, could be. If it was me, I would be interested. The other day, if I walk in first or second, you're going to get in there and have a fight. But you know what Chisora's like? He strikes me as the type of man. I've been round 3 or 4 camps. I've been in with him. He strikes me the type of man. If he makes up his mind, that's his mind. So you're very fortunate the fight's going ahead.
How would you feel if you was Parker in that situation? Because I was thinking he's been training away from his family for however long.
Exactly. You think about it. He's been away from his family for about 12 weeks or such, 10 week or 12 week, and it all could be down the Swanee just because Chisora wants to walk out second. If I was Parker, I'd say, give me 100 grand, you can walk out second.
What about prediction-wise for that fight?
Truthfully, if Del Boy turns up and brings the war like he normally does, which I'd imagine he will do, he could catch Parker, because he's got that unorthodox style where he's swinging punches everywhere. But Parker's younger and fresher, so. And obviously, he's hooked up with Andy Lee. Andy Lee's a very, very extremely good trainer. But on the other hand, Derek Chisora's also hooked up with Buddy McGurk. So it's going to be very interesting. I see there'll be a couple of knockdowns from either side, I believe. But I reckon if I had to put me last pound, I reckon Parker by points. But it won't be a walk in the park for him. Hell, definitely not. he'll have to go through hell, I think.
Well, he's got the heart of a travelling man now, hasn't he, Joseph Parker?
I know, yeah. I've seen that the flag what he's bearing, so fair play to him. It's good to see.
Yeah. Just a couple more things. I want to talk about Billy Joe and Tyson, obviously tearing things up in training in Vegas, both preparing for the biggest fight of their careers, whilst simultaneously laying into Eddie Hearn and his support of Canelo. Just want your take on that situation.
Obviously, Billy Joe and Tyson are very close, aren't they? They're very good friends. Same again, they've been with each other from day one, amateurs all the way to world champions where they are now. Very, very good fight, I think. It's a fight I'm looking forward to between Billy Joe and Canelo. Extremely good fight. If there's a man to beat Canelo, I think it's Billy Joe Saunders. Not being biased, obviously, I'm going to back the fellow Brit. You can understand what Tyson's doing, tweeting and stuff, what Eddie Hearn's doing. Let's be fair, Canelo's got hundreds of millions pumped into him, hasn't he? So that's promotes job. Or on the other hand, he also promotes Billy Joe Saunders. So he can't be all one-sided.
Yeah, so you do sort of see Hearn's not narrative. I don't know how to word this. You do see why Hearn would have such a vested interest in Canelo, despite the fact he's not actually Eddie's fight. Like, it's clear to see.
He's a pound, probably a pound star at the minute, isn't he? But if I was a promoter, you promote them both. That's it. You can't really have favourites, can you? Because there's going to be a winner and a loser, and if Billy Joe wins, he's on the driver's seat there, isn't he?
Yeah, well, Tyson did say Eddie would have egg on his face. I mean, is it even a fight that needs much promoting? Let's be honest, Billy and Canelo is just mouthwater.
Definitely. That's fair. You fight Billy Joe Saunders, 2-weight world champion, undefeated, fighting the pound-for-pound king. It sells itself.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. Nate, thanks for jumping on with me. Just wanted to get something quick, obviously, about last weekend. And, looking forward to seeing you in the ring again. And
thanks, Ross.
Yeah, God bless, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, brother. God bless. See you in a bit.